Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll be reviewing Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Crushing It, and detailing 5 key points that I took away from the book that will help skyrocket your personal brand and social media marketing, so stick around. First of all, I'd just like to give a big shout out to the man himself, Gary Vaynerchuk. If you don't already follow him on YouTube, you need to do so, at Gary Vee. He creates daily content that has so much value to it. So then, what's my overall review of the book? Well, Gary Vaynerchuk does a good job at making an easily readable book. It is quite a motivational style of book in terms of there's a lot of stories in here of people who have implemented what he talked about in his first original book, Crushing It, back in 2008. So to me, there was a lot of stuff in here I was already aware of and I'd consumed through other avenues in terms of his Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channels. However, there were still some key gems that I hadn't really stumbled upon, or I just needed the extra kick in the butt to actually start implementing. Overall, I'd probably give it about a 6.5 in terms of content and 8 in terms of ease of read. Jumping into those 5 points, we'll start off with an app I probably should have been aware of, however wasn't. It's called Musical.ly, and with over 200 million active users, it's something that I probably should have had an eye on already. However, the user base is predominantly under 15 years of age, so I think I'll give myself a little bit of a free pass in terms of that. Now, the best way to show you what it's all about is to run you through it on my phone, so that's what I'm going to do.
Alright, so let's check out Musical.ly and see what all of this rave is about. I just thought I'd let you enjoy that before we get into the little review of it. So this is the basic interface here. You've got full screen video with some basic text down the bottom with a hashtag, as well as the music that is involved in this particular Musical.ly. It's a good way for musicians to promote their audio. Just down the very bottom there, you can see it scrolling side to side, and then you've got the comment button down the bottom that if you'd like to add a comment, you can, and I believe you can click on the comments here to view all the other comments involved. I'll just pause that in the background so we don't get distracted. Yeah, so it's a very clean and nice looking interface. I've obviously put a lot of thought into this. If you want to like the video, you can quickly do that. Double tap also, same as Instagram. Then you've got the share button down here. I won't be sharing this. Once again, button there for the music, so you can go over to the musicians page, and if they've got content on here, it will show that, and it'll also show all of the people who've used their song to make a Musical.ly. So basically, if you haven't already figured it out, Musical.ly is all about creating videos to music. So there's a lot of I guess you'd call it lip syncing videos, as well as videos on the comedy side, on sort of comedy skits, where people have used snippets from various TV programs and various vines or YouTube videos or things like that, and basically impersonated the people in the video, as well as just trying to be funny, I guess. But we'll go back here and explore the main interface. So this is your main home screen here. You've got all the ones that you like on this, then any of them that you've uploaded. I haven't uploaded any. I've basically just installed it for a bit of a trial. The lightning bolt icon here for all your notifications. If you want to add anything, the middle center button there, then search, which is pretty colorful. Little screen here with a whole bunch of hashtags and things like that. So there's quite a lot of competitions that they have up here, which is, I find, quite cool, and this is probably why it's such a hit with younger people, as well as countries, New Zealand, Australia. But if there's particular challenges for particular songs, then they'll have them trending here. You can also jump between comedy, style, food, animals, sports, vlog. There's a whole bunch of different ones, so we'll just click on one of them for an idea of what it looks like, and you can scroll through similar to an Instagram feed, except slow moving videos with a few frames to give you an idea. Then if you'd like to, you can click on one and it takes you back to this screen here.
Hey, princesa.
If you'd like to scroll to the next one, you just scroll up. If you'd like to go back, down. It's very easy, very clean interface. And for anyone who's interested in creating content for the generation that's under 15 at the moment, or around about that age, then this would be a perfect platform. So for anyone interested in performing arts, music classes, dance studios, if you're in that business and you're looking for a social media platform to start on, I think this would be ideal. It's really focused towards those particular niches. Now, it's not to say, if you're in the business world, it's not a good idea for you to create one on here, at least to have a play around. It may not be for you. However, you can just create small snippets of video of you talking to the camera, or snippets of your most motivational, inspirational posts or workout videos. It's really up to you as to how you use it. However, the predominant user base is using it for music-related content and dance-related content, so they'll always have the upper hand. But that's just a quick overview of what this is all about. If you're interested in it, I highly recommend you download it. It's completely free, and just have a play around, create a profile, figure out whether or not you're up to the task of creating content for it. Have a look at some of the other people who are, amassing great success. I know there's one or two particular guys that I've been looking at on here that have amassed millions and millions of followers in a very, very short period of time. We're talking months. So great opportunity for a land grab if you are interested or looking to get into Musical.ly.
The second point Gary Vaynerchuk really tries to instill into you is personal branding. Personal branding to me means two things. Firstly, you have to be the face of your business or your organization, or you have to be willing to put your face out there as an expert in one or two particular fields, so that people gain trust from you as they see that you're knowledgeable about what you're talking about, and they associate you to that product or service that you're delivering. Now, secondly, in terms of the content that you are providing and delivering, you need to treat it, even if you're not the face of your brand, as if you were, as if everything you provide, everything you put out there has the potential to see 10,000 eyes, whether or not it's seeing only 5 eyes at that particular point in time. You need to know that you'll be judged on the content you provide. So is that something that you're wanting to put out there? Is that something you're wanting to be associated with in the future? Regardless of whether or not you have, a short-term goal associated with that content you're providing, you need to be aware that it will probably be out there for the rest of your life. So keep that in mind when you're delivering and producing content. So why would a personal brand benefit you? Well, if you are an expert in a field, you'll be approached by numerous people wanting your opinion, wanting you to speak at public events, create a blog post on their blog, and things like that. It just opens up a lot of doors, which is a really great way to get some exposure to your business. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, how am I supposed to create all of this content for all of these different platforms? Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube, Musical.ly, now that I've mentioned that? Well, it becomes a bit overwhelming. So how do I do that? And that brings us to the next point, which is document versus creating. Now, documenting can easily be explained by finding little key areas in your day-to-day life, whether that be business related or just behind the scenes, and all the things that you have to do to really maintain your motivation and business. Then thinking to yourself, hang on, would people benefit from knowing what I'm about to do, or learning the skill that I've just learnt myself? Plus, if you're going to teach it to someone, does that not further ingrain it in you and you learn it a lot better? I think so, and I think it's a great way to create a lot of valuable content without having to strain the brain too much and really, think of all these awesome creative ideas that get people stuck when that comes to creating content, because they get overwhelmed and they think, well, I've got to be on 24/7 and I've got to find all these opportunities and whatnot, and it becomes very, very difficult to even start. A practical personal example for myself is I know I need to learn everything I can about social media marketing. For one, it is so important to be up to date with all of the techniques and learn all these different platforms to be successful in business these days. Otherwise, you just fall behind the 8 ball, because there's someone out there who's willing to put in that extra effort and learn these things, and they'll get ahead, no doubt. So what I then intend to do is to create content surrounding my learning journey as I learn all there is to know about social media marketing. Now, no doubt there'll be fails along the way, there'll be learning opportunities, and I'll document that process. Now, this is an easy way to create, weekly content on YouTube especially, as well as all the other platforms. I could write a quick blog post about it. I could do a quick Facebook video or a Facebook post, as well as Instagram video. The opportunities are really endless, and it really boils down to how much effort you want to put into it, and whether or not you want to focus on one or two or all of these social media platforms. If you have enough time, I'd recommend really knuckling down on one or two initially and learning the ins and outs of those. Have a think about which platforms would benefit your business the best, and then do some quick Google searches to make sure you're actually on point with that and you know what you're on about. But I have to say, if you can get 1 point out of this book, then that would probably be the number one. It just frees your mind and frees you from a lot of stress of having to think of all these different pieces of content to create for every different platform. It makes your life a lot less stressful and a lot more manageable in the long run. Point number 4 is something that I've been meaning to experiment with for a long time now, and that is podcasts. Gary Vaynerchuk is very vocal about voice, pun I guess intended, and he says that it is going to be the new medium. New, not as in it is fresh, as voice has been around for a number of years now. However, what he means is that voice is going to leapfrog over current mediums like video. And some of the reason behind that is these new technologies emerging, such as Google Home and Amazon Alexa, that use voice and audio as their number one medium. On top of that, it's just human nature, because voice and audio is a lot more passive than video. You don't have to sit in front of that screen and really hone in on the visual side of things to gain value from that content. With audio, you can literally do anything else at the same time and listen to that podcast and gain some value from it. A great podcast to check out, if you haven't already, is Entrepreneurs on Fire. They have a great website, and basically on the website, they're very transparent when it comes to how they operate, run their business, and the money that they gain from sales and how much they earn. It's a great tool for starting up a podcast as well, and they have almost 2,000 episodes to date. So you know that, well, they probably know what they're doing. Now, if you're interested in getting into podcasting, as am I, then there's a very, very interesting app that I'll be talking about shortly that I think you really need to know about. Point number 5 is a quick one, and that is Google Home and Amazon Alexa. I've already touched on them a little bit. However, I need to reiterate that voice is the way of the future. With these technologies, Gary Vaynerchuk recommends buying one, if not both of them, just to practice utilizing them. Get used to voice command. Initially, it'll be weird, and you won't know what you're doing, and you'll probably fumble your way through it. However, the more you use it, as with any technology, the more proficient you get. And you never know, with utilizing it, you may think of 1 or 2 ways that you can create some content for that platform that might skyrocket your business and profits. Now, if you purchase these devices and you don't really like them, well, you can always on-sell them and recoup a lot of the money that you've invested. However, they're not overly expensive, with the majority of them coming in at under $100. So really, there's not a lot to lose and there's a lot to gain. That's the 5 points covered, but there are 2 additional points that I want to touch on in terms of apps that I think you should keep an eye on. The first one is called Anchor, and as I alluded to earlier, if you are looking at getting into podcasting, this is something you need to tinker around with. It's an easy app in terms of creating, collaborating, editing, and promoting your podcasts out into the world. It's a really great and user-friendly interface that has progressed recently from a kind of a beta phase into a more mainstream and usable app. So give it a look if you're thinking about getting into podcasting. After all, it's free, and what do you have to lose? Secondly, we have an app called Marco Polo. Now, Marco Polo is essentially video texts. And you may think to yourself, well, Snapchat already does that, so why would I bother installing this app? And it's something you just need to tinker around with. There are some differentiating points that I think will make this something to keep an eye on, and as does Gary Vaynerchuk. So it's really in its infancy stages at the moment, and the potential for growth is there. You just need to keep an eye on it, and maybe if it implements 1 or 2 new features, it could explode, in which case it could be an opportunity for you to emerge as a social media influencer. Book review done. If you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up. It'd be massively appreciated, and hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all future content. The next book review we'll be putting out is Tim Ferriss's Tools of Titans. It's a bit of a monster, so bear with me as I make my way through it. However, I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far, and there's many valuable points in the book. Comment down below with any book review suggestions, and as always, remember guys, it's your life, so do something you love.